Today, we expose the real 100% butter brands UK consumers need to avoid, because the stuff you thought was safe has been hiding metal fragments, E. coli bacteria, and production facilities operating without approval. We analysed every Food Standards Agency recall from the past 5 years, dug through safety reports, and traced contamination back to the source. And what we found in our report will change how you shop butter forever. Number 1. St Helens Farm Goat's Butter. Premium price, metal shards inside. St Helens Farm positions itself as the artisan choice. Goat's butter sold at Waitrose, Sainsbury's, Tesco and Ocado for £2.40 a pack. The kind of butter you buy when you want something special, when you're willing to pay extra for quality you can trust. But in December 2021, the Food Standards Agency issued recall FSA PRIN 56/2021. Small pieces of metal were found inside the butter. Not one pack, not one batch. Every single 250-gram pack with best before dates up to and including March 13, 2022 was deemed unsafe to eat. Think about what that means. You're spreading butter on your morning toast and there are metal fragments in there. Sharp edges, hard pieces. A choking hazard at best, internal damage at worst. The cause? Machine failure at their York production facility. Equipment breaking down mid-production. Metal shearing off into the butter. And somehow that contaminated product made it all the way through quality control, into packaging, onto delivery trucks, through supermarket receiving departments and onto shelves across Britain. How many quality checkpoints did this pass through? And here's the thing, this wasn't St Helens Farm's first problem. In 2020, the same company had a possible Listeria monocytogenes contamination. Multiple batches with varying expiration dates pulled from shelves. Listeria causes severe infections, especially dangerous for pregnant women, newborns, elderly people, and anyone with a weakened immune system. 2 major contamination events within 18 months. That's not bad luck, that's inadequate quality control. But it doesn't stop there. In July 2020, multiple retailers temporarily suspended sales of St Helens Farm products, pending an investigation into animal treatment claims. Tesco and Waitrose pulled the butter from shelves while they looked into the allegations. So you've got metal contamination, bacterial contamination, and animal welfare investigations, all from one Yorkshire-based producer supplying major national supermarkets. The premium price tag didn't protect you. The artisan branding didn't guarantee safety. And the goat's milk, the thing that made it special, didn't prevent metal shards from ending up in your fridge. Number 2. Trawithan Dairy Unsalted Butter. Cornish tradition meets E. coli. Trawithan Dairy trades on its Cornish heritage. Local, traditional. The kind of butter that feels trustworthy because it comes from Cornwall, from rolling green fields and small-scale producers who supposedly care more than the big corporations. You've probably seen it at Tesco, maybe picked it up, thinking you were supporting regional producers. But in March 2022, the Food Standards Agency found high levels of E. coli bacteria in their unsalted butter. Product code G2073, best before May 23, 2022. The recall notice was clear about the risk. E. coli can cause severe stomach cramps, bloody diarrhea and vomiting. Not mild discomfort, severe illness. E. coli is a fecal contamination indicator. It means somewhere in the production process, proper hygiene controls failed. Maybe it was the milking equipment. Maybe it was unwashed hands. Maybe it was contaminated water in the facility. Whatever the source, E. coli doesn't just appear in butter. It's introduced through negligence, through cutting corners, through inadequate cleaning protocols. Number 4. Saffy Butter Ghee, operating without approval. Saffy sells clarified butter, butter with the milk solids removed. It's marketed to South Asian communities, sold in 600-gram packs, positioned as authentic and traditional. But in February 2022, the Food Standards Agency issued recall FSA Prin 07-2022 with a damning reason. The products were produced in an unapproved establishment, not prepared in line with food hygiene and legislative requirements. Multiple best before dates affected, from May 2022 all the way through December 2023. Think about what that means. An unapproved establishment. The facility never passed inspection. The hygiene controls were never verified. The production methods were never checked against regulatory standards. They were just making butter and selling it, bypassing the entire food safety system. When a facility operates without approval, you have no idea what's happening inside. Are they maintaining proper temperatures? Are they cleaning equipment between batches? Are they testing for contamination? Are workers washing their hands? Are they controlling pests? You don't know. The regulators don't know. Nobody's checking. The FSA stated the products may be unsafe due to failure to meet food hygiene and legislative requirements. May be unsafe, because when you're operating without approval, there's no way to verify safety. You're asking consumers to trust a company that fundamentally disregarded the most basic regulatory requirement. Get your facility approved before you start selling food. This isn't about traditional methods versus modern standards. This is about a company that chose to operate outside the system, that prioritized profit over compliance, that sold products without subjecting their facility to inspection. The authentic, traditional branding becomes meaningless when the production facility hasn't been verified to meet basic hygiene standards. You thought you were buying quality butter ghee. You were actually buying a product from an unapproved facility with unknown contamination risks. Number 5. President butter. French prestige, contaminated reality. President butter is everywhere in UK supermarkets. It's French, it's premium, it has that European butter credibility that makes you think you're getting something better than British alternatives. But in 2012, President had an E. coli contamination outbreak that sickened 17 consumers before they finally issued a recall. The contamination came from unpasteurized cream from a single farm supplier, where treated cows weren't properly separated from the milking herd. 17 people fell ill. Not 1 or 2, 17. And the recall was international, affecting the UK market directly. But here's what's really interesting about President. Multiple UK consumers have reported on forums that the UK version tastes different from the French version. One comment on winepages.com described it perfectly. There seems still to be a special UK cuvée of President, which is indeed awful. I think because, in the English manner, the cream is not ripened. Another consumer said the UK version is not a patch on what you get in French hotels. The UK version is consistently rated as having an odd flavour, inferior to the French original. So what's happening? Is Lactalis Group, the French giant that owns President, making the butter differently for the UK market? Are they using inferior methods, unripened cream, different production standards? Because if they are, that's classic consumer deception. You're paying for French butter prestige. You're getting a UK-specific formula made to different standards. The French flag on the package, the premium pricing, the whole European butter mystique. It's covering up the fact that what's inside might not match what you think you're buying. Number 6. Asda garlic and parsley butter. The allergen you never saw coming. Asda's garlic and parsley butter was sold at the fish counter, positioned as the perfect accompaniment to your fresh seafood. Convenient, simple, a little luxury to elevate your dinner. But between 2018 and 2019, Asda had to recall it because of potential presence of peanuts not declared on the label. Very low levels of peanut may be present in the butter, not declared. For someone with a peanut allergy, even very low levels can trigger a severe reaction: anaphylaxis, swelling, breathing difficulties, a trip to A&E. And they'd have no warning because the label didn't declare the allergen. How do peanuts end up in garlic and parsley butter? Cross-contamination in the production facility. Either they're making multiple products on the same equipment without proper cleaning between runs, or they're storing ingredients improperly, or there's contamination somewhere in the supply chain. Whatever the cause, it represents a fundamental failure to control allergens. UK and EU regulations are crystal clear about allergen labelling. If it's in there, even in trace amounts, you must declare it. Asda didn't. They put customers with peanut allergies at risk because they failed to properly label their product or control cross-contamination in production. This is where the supermarket own-brand model reveals its weakness. Asda doesn't make this butter themselves. They contract it out to a supplier. That supplier makes it to Asda's specifications, slaps an Asda label on it, and ships it off. When something goes wrong, who's responsible? The supplier who made it? Asda who branded it? The accountability becomes fuzzy. And in that fuzzy zone, allergen controls fail. You thought you were buying something simple and safe from a major supermarket. You were actually buying a product with undeclared allergens that could put your family at risk. The broader picture is this: butter contamination is surprisingly common. A Public Health England study published in 2020 analysed samples from 2013 to 2019 and found that only 51% of butter samples from routine monitoring were satisfactory microbiologically. That's worse than milk, worse than cream, worse than cheese, worse than ice cream. Butter had the lowest satisfaction rate of any dairy product tested. The main concerns? Listeria monocytogenes, E. coli, and coagulase-positive staphylococci, the stuff that makes you seriously ill. Research from Nordic Food Lab in 2025 identified another problem: oxidation. Butter can turn rancid even in your fridge if it was previously exposed to light or oxygen during the supply chain. Those chain reactions continue after you buy it, and there's no disclosure requirement. No label telling you the butter sat in bright light during transport. No way to know if oxidation has already begun. So what does this mean for you? First, understand that premium pricing doesn't equal safety. St Helens Farm, Trawithan Dairy. President. Which one surprised you the most? Drop your experience in the comments. And if you want to watch a video like this one, click the video on the screen. Thanks for watching.